Welcome back to Golf Weekly. We are joined by Daniel Court, who will actually be the new host of Golf Weekly starting next week when we unveil the entire new program. Again, we're kind of doing a little soft opening, if you will, this week. So it's good to have you here.
It's great to be here.
You are
exciting.
A local golf enthusiast, and again,
One way to put it.
I see him behind the scenes, getting frustrated on the good days, the bad days, the frustrating days, all that. So
yeah, I've always heard that once the game officially goes to pot and you can't compete anymore, get into broadcasting and TV. That's what Nick Faldo did.
Yes, exactly.
Figure, why not me? So,
hence the transition here.
Yes. Yeah.
So we are talking with Stuart Moore, who's the COO of eGolf. And we're excited to have you all coming to the island February 15th through the 18th at Palmetto Hall. And we wanted to talk a little bit more to you about the local golf scene and maybe some of the players that we will see or know of from our local community.
Yeah, we've got a great representation this year. Lisa and her staff ran a one-day qualifier for the event for some local players, and it was actually won by PJ Politan, who's the head golf professional at Pinecrest Golf Club. So he will be in the field. One player the area knows very well, Chris Epperson of Hilton Head, who was a nationwide tour player last year and has played down in this area for quite some time, will be in the field yet again. Also a couple guys from the Bluffton area, Joel Hendry and Paul Cormack, both Scottish golfers who base themselves out of Bluffton year-round. Will be in the field, and then certainly we have to go down the road to Savannah. A couple good players down there.
Right in our backyard.
Yeah, absolutely. Adam Cohen, a former star player at Georgia Tech, and then actually we have one special edition, a guy that signed up a few nights ago. A lot of local people might know Sterling Sharp, who is the five-time All-Pro NFL wide receiver for the Packers, who is from the Savannah area. Originally will be competing in the event for the third straight year. It's interesting. Yeah, he actually signed up for the event during the Super Bowl.
Really?
Shouldn't he be busy? I didn't have time to look at the computer during the Super Bowl, but yeah, so he's
watching the game thinking,
that game didn't really inspire me to want to tee it up.
No, yeah, exactly. But he does it every year. You know, he's got some friends on the island. He's comfortable on the golf courses, and the guys love having him out. And it should be interesting because his brother Shannon was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame last August and gave a moving speech citing his brother's relationship with him and how his brother meant a lot to him achieving all the success he did in the NFL. So I think there'd be some local interest from the media members about getting up with Sterling and his participation in the event. So it should be pretty exciting.
Yeah, we were excited. This was actually the first year that we hosted a qualifier.
When was that?
It was back on January 17th, and we had about 35 golfers come out to compete for one spot.
Wow.
And
no pressure.
And PJ came away with it, so it was really exciting. We wanted to have that local, make sure we had a local presence there, so we can come on out and root for one of our locals for the event.
That's wonderful.
Can you imagine the pressure? I mean, we were watching Kyle Stanley, sorry, play this past weekend, and like we just said, we were so impressed with him kind of overcoming the loss from the previous week and winning, like just the pressure of the competition, and you know, hats off to PJ because that's not an easy
absolutely
feat.
Yeah. You know, it was one spot, so you're playing for it all, and not knowing what the scores are out there. And it was cold, it was windy, it was up for grabs. So it was a real exciting day to have all those golfers out there, and we had a lot of young players out there too, trying to come out and qualify for it. And you know, we hope to maybe do it again next year.
Well, as Stuart had mentioned in an earlier segment, that the tests at both of your courses at Palmetto Hall are very stern. Two totally different golf courses. I actually have done a tournament with you out there a number of years, and with Keith. And we're going to try to do that again this year. But I just love both of those golf courses. But you got to really bring your full game to compete there. So.
Yeah, and several of the holes on the first 2 days, we actually moved the tee boxes up. And then on the second 2 days, or last 2 days, that's when they're really playing from the back tees, especially on the Cup course.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, you got your full field of 200 players over the first 2 rounds, and certainly pace of play is something that's a real important to our tour. So there are a couple holes we'll bump the tee up 20 yards and take it from 460 to 440. So it's not exactly a break, but if that lessens the carryover hazard, helps the pace of play. Certainly daylight's limited in mid-February, so that's something that we do. And then the last 2 rounds just stretch it back. And as evidenced by the winning scores the last 2 years, 8 under and 12 under, that generally that creeps you into the top 10 in most of our events. But Palmetto Hall, that usually brings a victory.
How many guys are competing?
We should have, field will be established by the end of the week, should have just under 200 players. I would estimate from over 15 countries and 25 states.
Wow. So it's the same type of thing as you've got your first 2 days are kind of qualifying?
First 2 days are basically the first 36 holes of the event, and then for the final 36 holes, which will be on Friday and Saturday, we cut to the low 33% of the field in ties. So there'll be, give or take, about 70 guys left in the field the final 2 rounds.
And real quickly, we had talked offset. You had mentioned that you're offering for your top finishers some exemptions on both the European Tour and the Nationwide Tour. Could you mention something about that?
It's really exciting. Every year, a few years ago, we were the first tour to secure Nationwide Tour exemptions, which were doled out throughout each of the past 2 seasons to winners of certain events. And one exciting thing that we've been developing over the last 2 years is a relationship with the country of Morocco. Last year, we were the first U.S.-based tour to run multiple events on the continent of Africa with 2 events in Morocco, and as a result of that, we're granted an exemption into the European Tour's King Hassan Trophy, which will take place this March in Agadir, Morocco. And the way we're determining the winner of the event is the leading money winner, who's a member of our tour from these first 2 events, the Palmetto Hall Championship, and then the following week we're up in Okatee at the Oldfield Open at Oldfield Country Club. The leading money winner from those events will get a spot in the European Tour's King Hassan Trophy, which has a purse of $2 million. So it's a big deal. It's one of the great international events in the world, and so we're thrilled to have this relationship with the ATH and the country of Morocco, and hoping to grow that going forward. It's certainly an international game, and we're trying to grow internationally as well.
That's exciting partnership.
Well, make sure that you come out and show support for these local players, for all the players, and just enjoy some great golf at Palmetto Hall. See the courses, see the players, get excited about the game, and that's really what it's all about. So thank you again, Stuart. Mark your calendars, February 15th through the 18th at Palmetto Hall, brought to you by the Westin Hilton Head Island Resort and Spa. That'll do it for this first edition of our new Golf Weekly show, and thank you all for watching, and thanks to all of our guests, and we will see you next time. Thanks again.